How's it going, guys? And welcome back to yet another episode of Couch Coach Sport. It's your boy Bjorn here, and joining me as always on my left is my co-manager Dean. Dean, how's it going, boy?
Easy, bro. I'm doing good, bro. Still a very good week, and looking forward to round two. And yourself?
Same. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a high-scoring round. I can see a few mismatches. So I'm expecting quite a few tries this week. But talking about your week, how's your week been? I mean, you're a pro rugby player in Russia. How's things going that side?
Yeah, chill, bro. It was raining this week, so it wasn't the best of weather. But yeah, we've got a big game coming up this weekend against, I think it was the 8-time champions. So we're working quite hard, but we're looking forward to it. Hopefully we can...
really?
Yeah, bro. It's a bit of a tough one.
It's going to be an intense one, eh?
Yeah. But it is what it is. You have to take every game as they come, train hard, and hopefully we can get a result there.
Life of a pro, and that's why it's always handy to having you with me, because you got some inside knowledge, as they say. But anyway, let's get straight into the action. This week we've got, like I said, we've got a few mismatches. Up first, France, Uruguay. What's your thoughts?
It's France are gonna walk all over them, you know. It's a letdown for Uruguay to start off with France. You know, they had
that's your opening game.
Exactly. The crowd's gonna be against them, but let's hope they have a little bit of fun, get their hands on the ball sometimes. But let's get real. France are gonna run away with it.
What's your prediction regarding the score? Maybe I'm obviously also going for a big one, but what's yours?
I'm gonna go with 75-6. Let's go with 75-6. Yeah.
Not bad. I've got it at the moment at 93 for the French to 14 for Uruguay. Yeah. I think it's gonna be quite a few big scores. We actually got two bigger ones coming up, but I think it's gonna be quite a big score. I see the French. They're gonna stamp down the authority on this World Cup. The home crowd's going to be backing them once again. I see Uruguay lambs to the slaughter.
Yeah,
I see the French just running over them, and then actually eventually topping the group. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They're going to want to show a little bit of a fun game to their fans. You know, score some big points, get the crowd going, and they're going to top the group easily and move on with the tournament. I assume they'll be starting a B team against Uruguay. But a French B team is probably just as good as the A team. If you look at the individuals and the guys that have been playing in the top 14 and everything like that. But it'll be interesting watch in terms of just seeing what these guys can do when they get to spread the ball a little bit and not have the pressure of a big game on them. No,
that's true, and I think it's going to give them the opportunity, like I say, to have some fun and also test a few things out before the knockout stages. You must be mentioning the top 14 and French players. One player from the Uruguayan team that's actually going to be known to the French players is scrum half Santiago Arata. Am I saying? Yeah, Santiago Arata. Quality player, eh?
I think I'd be lying to you if I knew exactly who he is, but I think I've got an idea of who he is.
Castres
scrum half. We actually played against him a few years back, if I remember, when our team played in the Challenge Cup. I remember it was him, and at the time Rory Cockett was still there, and he came out, and this guy, I think it was him, it could be the wrong guy, but if it is the same guy, this guy is quite dangerous. Got some talent. Yeah.
Out of all the players in the Uruguayan team, he's definitely the one for me that's to keep an eye out for.
For you, I honestly, I'd be lying to you if I said I know anyone in that team. We don't follow them. Unfortunately, their rugby is not as big as what I enjoy watching, and but we'll see what happens. Do
you think they've got a chance to maybe do another little upset like they did in 2019 when they beat the Fijians?
Yeah, definitely not. Not against the French. No. Not against the French. Yeah, I think the opposition that they've been playing against lately hasn't been that good. I remember that a few years back, they had a few test matches against Springboks and those type of teams, and at when they beat Fiji, it was a shock to the world. We didn't really know who they were, where they were coming from, what their players were, and I think Fiji slept on them there. And I don't think in this World Cup, the quality of the top teams, I don't see them sleeping on anybody.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially now that you mentioned the thing about the top teams. If you look at especially the first round of fixtures, you saw the tier 1 nations, or your top teams. Okay, New Zealand, France, those are two tier 1 nations going against each other. But in all the other matches, you saw the Tier 1 nations come out trumps. Even Wales, Fiji, where we backed the Fijians to take that one. Wales' class just showing through at the end. Anyway, on to the next one. New Zealand versus Namibia. What's your thoughts, brother? I know you've played with a few of the Namibians before.
Yeah, I have. If I think of like the levels I've played at and imagining myself going up against the All Blacks team, I'd be very worried, bro. I'd be very, very worried. It's just such a big step up. And again, New Zealand probably going to put on a B team, but their B team, you know how New Zealand is. A B team on their day can probably win the World Cup, you know.
Agreed.
So it's gonna be very, very, very tough for Namibia. Hopefully they can score a few tries to get the crowd going, like they did at the last World Cup. But yeah, I see New Zealand scoring a lot of tries. The same situation as France, throwing the ball a little bit and having some fun in the game.
This is definitely one of those mismatches again that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Do you have a score prediction for us?
I'm gonna go with 85-10. I hope Namibia gets to score a try, and like they did at the last World Cup.
I'm actually backing Namibia. I'm backing Namibia to score 2.
Yeah.
But you don't really want to hear what the New Zealand score is going to be. Unfortunately for the Namibians, I think New Zealand are going to give them triple. I think they're going to give them 108-14.
Trips, eh?
Yeah, I just think New Zealand are hurting at the moment. They're suffering after that France defeat. They've never lost in the pool stages before. So they've got like obviously a point to prove. Obviously they've lost to South Africa and France, 2 big tier teams, but they've got a point to prove. And I can see them running wild. They're going to be trying to score as many points as they can, almost putting themselves back in contention for this World Cup after that early defeat.
Yeah, and I think it was a horrible weekend for New Zealand sports, you know. So it's Israel Adesanya losing, they lost, the Warriors lost. So it's you know, they all week they're going to be motivating themselves, saying, listen, just do something for our country. Let's give these guys an absolute hiding. Yeah, you don't want angry New Zealand coming at you if you're Namibia. Let's put it that way.
No, I agree with you, and there's probably going to be a New Zealand with the Geordie Barrett extra. So with Geordie Barrett added to the equation, I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. But to be honest with you, it's not my only 100-pointer for the round.
Yeah.
I told you there was a few mismatches and we got another one coming up. But before that, we've got Samoa versus Chile, the new boys. What's your thoughts?
Samoa, we spoke about the class that they've got in their team. They got to buy
Lima Sopoanga, Steven Luatua, Charlie Faumuina, and Christian Lealafano. So 3 All Blacks, 3 former All Blacks, and 1 former Wallaby.
Yeah, exactly. And they got the bye the first week, so you know they're going to be quite fresh compared to Chile. High quality players that are going to want to train their set pieces, get their momentum in going into the next few games. So I think they're going to give Chile quite a big score. Chile, I wasn't too not impressed with what they were doing. They had a few exciting players.
Moments.
Yeah, they've got moments.
They had their moments.
Exactly. But I don't think that physically they're going to keep up with the Samoans, as most teams don't. And the speed at which the Samoans are going to be playing, considering that a lot of these guys are All Blacks or international level players, and in New Zealand,
very experienced players as well.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with 52-15 to Samoa.
52-15. To be honest with you, not much of a difference between you and I. I just don't back the Samoans to score as many.
Yeah.
I think they are going to score tries. I think they, like you mentioned about their physicality, like we know with most Oceanic teams, they come in strong, they come in fit, they come in fast. But I still see Chile putting up a bit of a fight, so I'm going to go 44-17. So it's still a comfortable Samoa victory, but I'd still back Chile to do a little bit.
Yeah, they could. You know, the Samoans are a little bit like, as with other Pacific Nations teams, they tend to leak a few points. You know, with Christian Lealafano, Lima Sopoanga, there's going to be a difference that Samoan teams in the past, they don't dominate the territorial game. And I think now they put themselves in a situation where their territorial game improves. So if they're playing rugby in the right areas, it's very difficult to defend a Samoan side in your half or 22. So I'm backing them to score a lot of tries against Chile.
Yeah, you're right. They've definitely added 2 elite kickers to the side.
Yeah.
Also, Stephen Luatua on the flank, a huge addition. So, yeah, I back Samoa. I think they're going to do decent, but like I said, Chile a bit of a fight.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
On to the next one. We've got Wales versus Portugal. Another bit of a mismatch. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, bro, it's just mismatch.
Yeah, it's a mismatch round.
Lucky for Wales, I think that they'll be happy that they can put their B team on. I'm sure their A team is, their bodies are hurting.
Broken
exactly.
After this weekend.
Exactly. So yeah, lucky for them, they can do that. Again, Portugal, not the class that we want them to be playing at. Versus the tier 1 nations, you know, I think they only got into the World Cup because Spain got disqualified.
Yes, they were the last qualifying team. So we know what happened with the Spain situation.
Yeah. So I think that Wales are going to walk over them. It's going to be one of those high-scoring games. I'm going to go with 68-5. I reckon they'll get it, maybe a try. But the reason being 68 is that it could be more. But Wales will play their B team, and their B team was probably that team that played against South Africa, and that the last years they played against South Africa, and they are not of the greatest quality, but still much higher quality than Portugal.
No, I agree with you. Now I know there's that little saying about great minds, they think alike. Because our scores are super close. I've got it 66 for Wales, 8 to Portugal. So the scores are pretty much identical. Also, I agree with you about the B team. They're going to play their B team, but their B team is still way too strong. I still see players like Josh Adams playing in the game. Dan Bigger might get a little bit of a run out in the game as well. So it's not like they're going to be playing weak, like a much weaker side than what they used to. So I'm definitely backing the Welsh again. Like we say, another mismatch, the week of mismatches. One player though from Portugal to keep an eye on, Thomas Appleton, the fly-half. He's actually scored 14 tries in his 61 caps. And he's played sevens for Portugal as well. So I think that's definitely an experienced player that Portugal will need in their side for this World Cup.
Yes, done your research, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see.
I'm glad to see.
No, I feel guilty that I haven't. But it's all good. I'll watch out for this number 10, bro. I promise.
He's a decent little player. I've been watching a little bit of highlights of his. Obviously, like you said earlier, we don't really get to see Portugal much.
Yeah, I actually do.
Not much to go off of.
We watch when Russia play in the qualifying for the World Cup. They play against Portugal, and what I remember, Portugal, bro, they have some good players. I remember the number 15 was pretty dangerous on the ball in hand, kicking to him. I wouldn't be able to say his name. But if look out number 15, he is quite dangerous. They do have quite a nippy backline and some strong forwards. I remember them beating Russia once and Russia beating them once. So yeah, they'll not be bad. But again, the level that they're gonna go be playing at,
the golfing quality, the golfing quality is too large at this World Cup. I agree with you.
Yeah.
On to the next one. We've got Ireland.
I just want to comment on that one that you said. It's crazy, like, we talk about the golfing quality between, like, the tier 1 and the tier 2 nations, but the golfing quality between the tier 1 nations is actually so small. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy how that started happening. I remember...
No, it's true what you say.
Yeah. I remember, like, the last few World Cups, you put three teams on a list and that's it. Now you've doubled it. You've literally put 6, maybe 7 teams that can win it. It's good to see. It's good to see.
It's very tight. At the top of the world rankings, it's very, very tight. Also, if you've seen the fluctuations in the recent couple of weeks, how teams can drop from first, like the French were first a few weeks ago, then Ireland took over, South Africa were fourth, now we're second. So there's been quite a few shifts and changes in the top tier nations, but that actually makes it more exciting because when the knockout stages comes around, everyone's going to be in a very similar playing field. The next one, we've got world number 1 Ireland versus Tonga. Tonga's first match of the competition. Thoughts?
As much as I want to give Tonga a chance, I just think it's the wrong team to give them a chance against.
They've got a few players. You mentioned Samoa. Sorry to interrupt. You mentioned Samoa, but Tonga have got a few players himself. Aya Fafita, George Muhala, Charles Pieta, Augustine Pulu, and Malakai Fekitoa. So that's 5 former All Blacks.
Exactly. Great players. And they would have had Falau had he not got injured. And I'm really excited to watch how they're going to put it all together. I think they are going to be a very, very, very entertaining bunch. And I'd love to see like what they're going to be able to do with a bit of more structure in their team, as well as some game breakers. But unfortunately, the Irish are the wrong team that they're going to be going up against. It's for us to see them.
No, I agree with you. Ireland look, especially what they did against Romania. Like I know we keep repeating ourselves, but Romania, another tier 2 nation, and Ireland put them completely to the sword. Exactly. I thought Ireland's performance on the day probably would have beaten a lot of teams. Bandi Aki was exceptional. Peter Mahone was good. Also, you have to take into consideration that Josh van der Vliet didn't even start that game.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be a tough one for Tonga, but I think Tonga not beating Ireland, but I think they're gonna cause them quite a few problems, because if you know Tonga traditionally, they always have a strong pack. Working off a strong pack, plus you've added 4 top quality backline players. You got Muhala and Fekitoa in centre, and you got Pulu on scrum half, and you got Pieta that can play anyone outside backs. And if you added Falau into that mix, who knows? Then I think they probably would have had a chance against Ireland. But I agree with you. I think Ireland are going to be too strong. I believe Ireland are going to play quite a lot of their first team players. So I see Bandi Aki playing again. All the guys we mentioned. I back the Irish. I back the Irish on this one. 44-21.
44-21, good score. I'm gonna go with. I think they'll give them a 50, bro. I reckon they're not gonna be. 50. They're not gonna play a B team here. They're gonna make sure that they get through this game with the maximum points. So I'm gonna go 52-25. I think the Tongans will score some tries just because of individual brilliance, but I reckon the collective play from the Irish is gonna be too much for them. 52.
I agree with you. I see Ireland playing an 8 team, and you know why? Just because they can't afford any slip-ups. Exactly. If South Africa beats Scotland, they can't, because if they lose to Scotland and let's say they pick up a weird loss against Tonga, all of a sudden, goodbye world number 1. And you know what? I said before this in my first predictions. Ireland are the bogey World Cup team. No matter how strong they come into this World Cup.
Yes, bro. Yes.
There's always that little bit of voodoo, that little bit of witchcraft. I think Pogba might have buried a hyena in somewhere in Lansdowne Road or something, because something's happening there when it comes to World Cup time.
Yeah, bro. It's the luck of the Irish, bro, that they would get a Tongan team that's just the best team in the world on the day.
Because when I look, you know what, I didn't back Tonga at all, but then I started looking a little bit deeper into their side, and when I added up all these players, and I was like, these are high quality, super rugby, international level players that's joined them. So especially Fekitoa, I mean, at one stage he was arguably the best centre in the world.
Exactly, bro, and he's how many caps for All Blacks, bro? He must be in the teens. He's high quality, bro. He's high quality, an elite level player. Most of those guys are. I reckon the thing that might be stopping them a lot is their fitness. Look at Ntamafuna.
You're the one that, from the Chiefs,
140 kilograms.
Eh?
Exactly, 140 kilograms. So you've got him for, let's get real, maximum 40 minutes and it's done. So again, they're going to be exciting and they're going to have to score a lot of points, because I reckon their fitness is going to kill them a little bit towards the end.
So they're going to need to strike early in this one, you say, if they
strike early. Yeah. Strike early, throw the ball around, play some Pacific Nations rugby, and we'll see what happens at the end.
Just put throw the kitchen sink at it. I mean, that's the only way for Tonga when they approach World Cups. That's kind of the only way they play as well. If you look at they put everything into it.
Yeah, but all seriousness, we both know that Ireland are going to smash them. So
I think Ireland will step up and they'll actually take this one home. And now we've got the big one on Saturday. South Africa, Romania. Another missed match. The week of mismatches. Predictions, scores, thoughts?
Mate, I'm going to go similar score to what the Irish did. I'm going to go with 85-6.
You don't back the box to put 100?
I think we're going to start a B team, bro, and it's not very often that we go and score a lot of tries. I think the smart option in a game like this is to tell the guys, listen, yes, go score the tries, but let's train our structure. Let's use this as a type of training match rather than a blowout and throw the ball around. Because that's a clever ploy just to get the guys going into, this is our structure, guys. Let's see what works, where our running lines work it perfectly. And essentially it's a training game, you know?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying completely. So Africa, I just see them running rampant in this one. Even if we play a B team side, who's going to be in the team? Mapimpi, I mean, still at elite level. Grant Williams might get a start. Another guy that could go score 4 tries, just run past everyone.
Yeah.
Mapimpi can score 4. Then you probably assume maybe Curtly will get another chance on the wing. When you're his age, do you really need a rest like that much?
I love how you like 85 isn't a rampage. You want 100. You want 100.
I'm giving them 100. That's what I'm saying. I've got high scores this week. I think it's going to be quite bad. I think if what the Irish did, and I don't rate their wings as good as ours. I don't think their wings are as good as ours. I don't think their backlines are as smooth as ours. So, irrespective of who plays, I see us putting a big score on them. Like I said, our B team, if someone like Grant Williams starts, he's going to score tries in that game.
Yeah,
Billy will probably get a start in that game. That'll be easy for him. He can run around. Then you got the front row probably will change. Bongi, Ox, and Trevor coming in. They're monsters. Who's going to stop them?
Yeah.
I see a long day for Romania on this one.
Yeah. Who do you think will start on 10? Do you think Manu will go in for kicking, or they might just switch it up a little bit?
I wouldn't be surprised if we switch it up, but not a big switch where we just move Damien to 10.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
I could see something like that just to test them out. Who else is the reserves for 10? We got Mani, and then it's because we pretty much chosen like versatile players that can operate.
Yeah, we've got 4 scrum halves and 2 fly halves.
Because Faf can play 10, Willie can play 10, and Damien can play 10. So I'm assuming if Mani doesn't start, which he might not, but also he might at this moment in time, because like you mentioned regarding the kicking, also similar thing with Curtly. Does he really need a rest against Romania? Unless he gets injured.
I don't think so, but I'd probably let Mampipi and Kanan Moody get minutes. Maybe Kanan might get minutes on 13. If
I think Kanan will probably get 13.
Yeah,
I think Kanan will probably
on
get
13. Then I don't think Curtly would be sitting on the bench. But they definitely let Cheslin sit before they let Curtly sit down.
I also think Cheslin would, especially with his injury record in the last couple of years. He's been struggling a bit with picking up little niggles here and there. So I think that, and especially you don't want to risk him, because when it comes to final times, you want that experience, and you also want a guy that's been there, done that before. I think we should actually just stop you on the South African game, because I think our fans, you know what they would like? Another preview on its own, boys. So I think we're going to do a South Africa-Romania preview on its own. Obviously get released in this week. Please keep an eye out for that. Don't forget, people, hit the subscribe button, like, and comment down in the comment section down below. To the next one, Australia-Fiji, probably my game of the round. What's your thoughts?
Definitely a game of the round. I was watching videos of the Fijians, like the fans. Waisale Serevi was in the crowd when Rajendra dropped that ball, and bro, it's absolutely heartbreaking, bro. Rajendra's face, Serevi's face, it's so heartbreaking. It
was their moment. If they picked up that win in that game, if they picked up that win, they probably would have qualified out of this group. Now they've made it so difficult for themselves because they have to beat Australia. If they lose against Australia this week, they're out.
Exactly, bro. But they can do it, bro. If you look at the teams, you look at the performances of late. Oh, bro, they can genuinely cause an upset, and it will be amazing if they do it. Unfortunately, us being South Africans, Australians aren't our favorite team.
That's true.
So, and if one team beats them other than us, I think it would be beautiful if it's Fiji.
No, of course. I mean, Australian tiers are always nice, Walton Matilda can be changed to Wani Matilda, and I'll be very happy.
Exactly.
What's your score in that game? Obviously, it's going to be a tight one. Australia obviously beat Georgia, Ben Donaldson show, but they didn't look 100% on it. Like we said, against the top tier teams like South Africa, New Zealand, France, they're probably going to go out. So, what's your thoughts on Aussies versus Fiji?
Definitely the most difficult prediction. My heart wants to go with Fiji just to see that, but my mind tells me that the Australian structure and their kicking game,
Eddie Jones,
and just Eddie Jones's coaching, I think they're going to pull this one through. A low-scoring, tight affair. I'm going to go with 25-21 to Australia.
25-21 to Australia.
Yeah.
I would agree with you, but I still think it's going to be tight, but I do think Fiji are actually going to take this one.
They do.
I think the only thing that might go against them is they're going to be also a little bit hurt and a little bit tired from the Welsh game. And a little bit, but like we said, this is their last opportunity. For Australia, if they lose here, they still have a chance to qualify. Fiji, this is it. They have to go all out for this one.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to play a solid team. I thought their captain was once again excellent. Wasia Naya Salevu, the centre, I thought he was great. Yeah. I thought he was excellent against Wales, probably the Fijian player for Wales, the Fijian man of the match. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to go with the Fiji win here, but I do believe it's going to be close, 29-24.
That's a good prediction, bro. It's really one of those games like in a normal situation, let's say a friendly test match, you'd back Australia, but because it's World Cup and the story behind it, it really becomes such a 50-50 game at this moment. And it's really, I think it's going to be not only because it's the biggest game of the round, but I think it's going to be a great watch. It's going to be one of those games that is going to be very enjoyable.
It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker. And you know, Fiji and Australia, they also have their history. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
They've had a long-standing history now, also with the Fijians being included in Super Rugby. There's a tension between the two sides, and I think Fiji are going to come out on top on this.
Yeah, and I mean, you got 3 Fijians in the Australian squad right now. So, and it's actually four Fijians that are big name players in the Australian side. You know,
there's always been that connection, you can say.
Yeah, it's definitely obviously close location and close history.
Yep, I agree with you. Okay. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining your boys, Bjorn and Dean, again. Please like, subscribe, and leave comments down in the comment section below. We love having you here. We'll see you again soon. Cheers, everyone.